Okay, so once again I have a running program that is a tortoise running in a square. It ends by telling me it's at the end of the program, and that end program is this string printing. And as you can see, it moves forward, turns right, forward, right, forward, right, forward, right. Okay, so this goes on 4 times. Now imagine that I had a program where I had to repeat something 200 times or 500 times or even 10,000 times, which is completely possible. This is part of the reason that we made computers, is because they can do mundane tasks over and over and over again, and they don't complain, they don't ask for more pay, they just do what they're told when they're told. Okay? But if I have to repeat this hundreds of times, it's going to take me a long time to copy and paste those couple of commands. Because really, when it comes down to it, it's just 2 commands repeating over and over again. And this is where iteration comes in. And iteration is just a fancy word for repetition, for looping. And speaking of the for loop, I'm going to talk about the for loop now. Alright, so in programming, and this is for many programming languages I might add, in programming we've got what's called a for loop, and basically we can actually repeat a number of commands as many times as we want. So in this case I'm going to say for counter equals 1 to 4. Alright, and then at the bottom I'm going to put the word next. And so these 2 things go together. Okay, so you'll notice if I take the next out, the computer complains, the IDE complains. Alright, so you've got a for, but you don't have a next. So I have to write that next in there. And so from whatever's in this line, whatever's below this line, and whatever's above this line, everything in between, all the commands in between, will be executed this many times. So what you've got is you've got this counter, and this counter will actually do the counting. So let's just show that this works first off. Alright, so there's the square. It's repeating those 2 lines. Alright, it moves forward 150 pixels. Apparently that's wrong. And it turns 90 degrees. So then it goes back up to the top, repeats it again, and it repeats it 4 times. Okay, so all this counter does is it starts at 1, and it goes through, and then it goes back to the execution goes back to here. The counter becomes 2. It goes through again. It becomes 3. It goes through again. It becomes 4. It goes through again. It becomes 5. And since 5 is greater than 4, it jumps over and continues executing further code. Now I'll just show you what the counter does. On the console, I will write out counters. So the counter is just a variable, and that's what we learned last lesson, was what a variable is. And all it's doing is it's counting. So each time it hits this line here, it goes back up to the top and counts again. And we can actually watch as the tortoise is going. See, each time it goes and completes a side, it counts. Okay? How cool is that? So you can actually use this counter as a variable in your code. But look, don't worry about it right now. What I want you to realize is that you can repeat code, whatever's below this for line and above this next line. Any code in here will execute that many times. Now, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. Go on to the next few exercises. This is a simple loop. There's much more to it, many modifications you can make to it. But let's just see if you can get this loop working. So work through the exercises. Good luck.